In this episode, we talk about a 111-kilometer long passage proposed for the Kanwar Yatra and why it is facing objections. We also talk about ISRO's smallest launch vehicle placing EOS-08 and SR-0 satellites into the designated orbit. But first, we give you a detailed update on the Kolkata doctor rape and murder case. Hi, I am Niharika Nanda and you are listening to 3 Things, the Indian Express news show. The 9th August case of a female junior doctor being raped and murdered at Kolkata's Arjikar Medical College and Hospital has left the entire country shocked and enraged.
An on-duty doctor who is 31-year-old and she was a trainee doctor. She was in second year PGT of chest medicine and she was doing duty for last 36 hours at a stretch. And then this 31-year-old trainee doctor is found dead, and later it was found that she was raped and murdered in a government hospital.
That's Indian Express's Sweety Kumari. Massive protests have broken out in Kolkata and across the country, and members of the medical fraternity are demanding justice and a safe working environment. The case has now been transferred to the Central Bureau of Investigation, and they have taken the accused, Sanjay Roy, into their custody. To learn more about the case and the updates in the investigation, we have Indian Express's Sweety Kumari, who has been covering the case for the paper, joining us. So, Sweety, we understand that the case has now been transferred to the Central Bureau of Investigation.
So, CBI has taken over the investigation of the case. And this case will be court-monitored investigation. The court, under its own wisdom, transferred this case to the CBI, saying that the people had no trust in Kolkata police. Now, Central Bureau of Investigation is a central agency. And after the case was handed over to CBI, they, set up a camp here. A team from Delhi came here, which included a CFSL expert, their own medical expert. They examined the place of occurrence not once, but more than that. And they have collected case diary, case-related documents from Kolkata police. Special investigating team officials have already been questioned on the details of the investigation that was done by the Kolkata police.
And in the last couple of days, has the investigation into the case gone any further? Have any new discoveries been made in the case?
So it's been quite some time that CBI has taken over the investigation of the case. Several trainee doctors, former principal of Arjikar Hospital, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, 2 members of special investigating team, and several others have been summoned by CBI. There's constant grilling going on. Several documents are being scanned. CBI officials are also keeping an eye on the calls that were made from the phone of the accused. So there are constant investigation going on. If we talk about what CBI has found so far, so a psychological team of CBI's CFSL has also come and, are part of the investigation. They are doing a psychological examination on the accused Sanjay Roy. So CBI is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that investigation is, done timely, and everyone, whoever was there on duty at that night, or in any way, if somebody is found having any role in running the hospital or medical institute where the incident took place, they all are under the purview of the investigation, and CBI are calling them, questioning them, cross-examining them. However, let's see how it unfolds in the future.
And Sweety, doctors and medical professionals have been protesting. They also did a Reclaim the Night march in Kolkata. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was on August 14th. And that night, I think it would not be wrong to say that on August 14th, Kolkata created history. People were out on street, bracing heavy rain. At odd hour of the night, they were holding placards, they were raising slogans, they had Indian flags in their hand. And all they wanted was, women were there to reclaim their space, to reclaim their night, and to, seek justice for Arjikar victim. So basically the idea was the women wanted to send the message that night is ours and we should be, safe wherever we are, at whatever time we are, traveling in, whether we are on road, where we are at workplace, the time should not matter. If a man can feel safe, so a woman should also. And we were a part of that, and we covered. It was organized across the city and in all the adjoining districts. We saw that even in the remote areas like Purulia, Jhargram, people had come with candle and they took out a march, and that it was great to see that people were so united. There was no age bar, no gender bar, and there was not like only junior doctors or doctors were out on street. It was Kolkata or Bengal coming together for a cause.
And you also had the opportunity of talking to some of the people who had come for the protests. So, what did they have to say?
So I was speaking to few girls. They were doctors, they were advocates, they were, students who were out on the street. And we also carried a story of a junior doctor who said that, this is gender biasness is there in medical field also. What interesting I found was there were ladies who had come to reclaim their space, but with their male counterparts, like male friends and all. Because after this Arjikar incident, many said that they did not feel safe, and the incident has shattered them from inside. And we always vouch that NCRB data shows that Kolkata is the safest city. But this belief has been shattered after this incident. I was speaking to one of the ladies, she's 90 plus now, and she had walked 3 kilometers in the south, from Joka to ESI hospital. And when we were having a conversation with her family, they said that she came out on her own willingness. She felt it so deeply. And during our conversation with her, she told me that something had broken inside her after this incident, and she was seeking justice for Abhaya, as they say. We are not naming the victim as per Supreme Court guideline, and the protests are under the name of We Seek Justice for Abhaya. So that 90-year-old elderly woman was out on street at the middle of the night. She walked for 3 kilometers with the help of her family members holding a candle, and all that she wanted was a safe society for the next generation. So that night, it had a different feeling, and it was like somewhere people are united. There is a genuine anger, there is a genuine outrage in people after this incident.
And Sweetie, we also heard that unfortunately that very same night, some miscreants vandalized the hospital. So can you tell us what happened exactly?
So this incident is very horrifying, we say. But what added to it was on August 14, when the protest, the Reclaim the Night event was going on fine in different corners of the city. After midnight, suddenly mob, which had, assembled outside Arjikar hospital, barged into the hospital premises. They went straight to the emergency ward. They, vandalized the stage of the protesters, the doctors. They broke their loudspeakers. Everything was vandalized. In fact, the mob also entered into the hospital premises. Several furniture, several instrument, costly instrument of government hospital was broken, vandalized, and it was about 1 hour to 2 hours, and within 1 to 2 hours, the entire hospital scenario had changed. There was clear attempt were made to, destroy the evidences. But however, fortunately, the mob could not enter the chest medicine department of the place of occurrence. So there was no tampering with the evidence, as the crime scene remained intact. But doctors had, ran away from the protest site to take shelter in a safe area. In fact, interestingly, there were police who were, on duty at that night outside the Arjikar hospital. Many of them ran with other doctors, junior doctors, and some claims that even police were so scared of the mob that they also took out aprons to pretend that they were doctors. And in fact, local DC also received severe injuries. There were 3 to 4 police who received critical injuries in this attack. There were doctors who were injured. And in fact, some of the nurses, were saying the mob were threatening them of committing rape upon them if they find them outside the hospital. Such was the scene, and definitely police were at failure and they could not control or contain the crowd. Kolkata Police Commissioner also later held a press conference a day after, if I'm not wrong, and he even agreed that there was a failure of assessment and they never thought that the mob outside the RGKR hospital would go this violent.
And Sweetie, how have the protests and the absence of doctors from the medical institutions and hospitals affected the medical services?
So, Niharika, this clearly, the OPD services are not normal. Like doctors are saying that emergency services are running and there are senior doctors who are serving patients. But ground reality is there are no doctors at the OPD. Emergency services are also, there are, very limited senior doctors. Because morally, ethically, and in every way, all the medical fraternity are in support of this protest. So even if somebody is coming to the duty, they are joining the protest in breaks and all. So definitely the patients are facing challenges. There are a lot of patients serious with chronic disease like cancer. And I was speaking to one of the patient who had come from Bakura and he, gets treatment in cancer hospital in Kolkata, in one of the Kolkata government run hospital. He was saying that he was there for last 2 days only to meet doctor because doctor had said that he was supposed to change the medicine. I would say the entire government hospital patient services are paralyzed and there is most of the RGKar patient, in-house patient are now taking discharge on their own risk because patient feel that it is safer to keep them at home. And when the situation normalizes, then they'll come back with the patient at the hospital. And patient services have taken a toss and there is like no proper doctors or junior doctors are available for consultation at OPDs.
Right. And what have been the political implications of this incident? How has the TMC government acted on the case, the protests, and now the vandalism?
Okay, so for this, I have to explain that what was this West Bengal government stand initially. So after this incident took place, this was definitely, a shocking incident for everyone. Definitely whether it's Chief Minister of West Bengal or the government, West Bengal government is at the back foot. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee holds the health portfolio. She also holds the home ministry. So clearly, people have been putting the blame on Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, and a section of people and opposition have also been demanding her resignation. Mamata Banerjee, since day one, had been saying that the incident is very unfortunate, and she has reiterated several times that I want fair investigation, and she has met the family members and she tried to convince them that the investigation was at the right track. The main accused Sanjay Roy was arrested. The victim's mother told media that during her conversation with Mamata Banerjee, she had clearly told her that she was not convinced that Sanjay Roy was the only person who could commit the crime because the kind of injury that victim woman had on her body, it is very difficult for the family to believe that it was work of a one person. So the victim's mother also discussed this with Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee told the Commissioner of Police who was accompanying her to their home that she also had this question in her mind, and so police should investigate fairly.
And Sweetie, we also hear that CM Mamata Banerjee had also led a rally in support of the victim and the case. So how did that pan out?
There have been rallies from the opposition party. Opposition had also announced a 12-hour bandh in protest of this incident. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also did a rally with her women leaders in the Dharmatala area, which also, attracted a lot of criticism because Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is herself the Chief Minister of the state. She heads the government and she also holds the health portfolio. So during her protest, when she was seeking justice and raising voice, Trinamool government was criticized. There were several memes on social media that why Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is doing the rally because the incident has taken place on her state and especially because she holds the portfolio herself. Now, when Mamata Banerjee did the rally, Trinamool Congress defended that, saying that since the case was with CBI and Mamata Banerjee had given a deadline to its own police, Kolkata police, that to solve the case within Sunday or the case will be handed over to the CBI. So she had similar expectation from the CBI, and that's why Trinamool was on road seeking justice from central agency, which they claim did not have a good success rate. However, CBI has claimed that their conviction rate is more than 70%. So, keeping these things aside, I would say that Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee from day one is at the back foot after this incident. No matter what, she came out in public and has several times said that we want a fair investigation.
Right. And Sweetie, can you tell us a little bit about former principal of the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh? What all has happened post his resignation and the CBI interrogation?
When something of this nature takes place, we usually see that as punishment, as a punitive action, government sometimes transfers the authority. In this case, we saw that Sandeep Ghosh, who is the former principal of Arjikar Hospital, resigned after around 2 to 3 days of the incident. There was constant demand from medical fraternity and across the state that he should resign, but it took him a lot of time. And when he resigned, he said that it was on a moral ground because he felt that she was like her daughter. And he also pointed out that there was a political conspiracy against him. Now, people were still, I would not say that they were happy, but after Sandeep Ghosh's resignation, just before his resignation, state government had removed him from the principal's position. So they were happy with that. But within hours, there was another order by state government reinstating Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, who is at the center of the controversy, to a new role as principal of Calcutta National Medical College. Now, people looked it as a promotion, and there was further outrage, further anger in medical fraternity that government on one hand was saying that they were serious and they wanted a fair investigation into the case, but they did not do anything. Instead of removing the former principal of the hospital, he was given another role, and that triggered, further outrage in people. He has been facing marathon interrogation by the central agency, and there are speculation that he might be arrested, but we will not talk about it right now because that would be little immature to say because the investigation is already on.
And Sweetie, have any further FIRs been lodged in the case and have any more arrests been made?
So there has been only one FIR so far, which says that the victim was allegedly raped and murdered. And only one arrest was made, and that was of Sanjay Roy. CBI has taken him under its custody. After that, Kolkata police has been sending notices to a lot of people. And as we all know that under Supreme Court guideline, you are not supposed to, divulge any details that identifies a sexual assault victim. So rightly so, on this ground, Kolkata police has been acting on against the pages, the social media pages, the YouTubers and any doctors or anyone who had in their own way named the victim or identified the person. What is interesting is Sukhendu Sekhar Roy, who is a Trinamool Congress MP and a very veteran leader of the party, had recently criticized the investigation by Kolkata police. He had said that Vineet Goyal, the CP, Kolkata Police Commissioner, should be taken into custody and interrogated. And he had also questioned on why sniffer dog was taken into the hospital or place of occurrence only once, and that too after 3 days. Now, Kolkata police has served him a notice on Sunday, and it is under section 35 by 1 of BNS. And he has been asked to come and appear before Kolkata police after the incident of vandalism in Arjikar Hospital. In connection of that, a case was registered. 3 cases were registered at 3 different places, Maniktala, Tala and Ultudanga area, and several arrests were made. So far, while we are talking, there have been 30 arrests, and these men were those who were involved in the vandalism in Arjikar Hospital on August 14 night.
And next we talk about a special passage being proposed for the Kanwar Yatra. The Uttar Pradesh government has proposed a 111-kilometer long Kanwar Marg along the Ganga Canal. But the National Green Tribunal has ordered a probe into the project due to the allegation of illegal and unnecessary tree felling. To learn about the project and why the tribunal has ordered the investigation, we have Indian Express's Nikhil Ghanekar joining us. Nikhil, can you tell us what is the Kanwar Marg project?
So, Niharika, regarding this Kanwar Marg project, based on the documents that the UP government has submitted in the National Green Tribunal, this is the justification and the rationale they have given behind the construction of this new road. So, the UP government's Public Works Department has said that every year this Kanwar Yatra happens in the month of Shravan, where Shiv Bhakts collect water from the river Ganges and they go back to their respective native places in UP, MP, Delhi, Haryana, Rajasthan, and they basically offer the Ganga water in the Shivji's temple. Now, these devotees are on foot after they collect the water from Uttarakhand and they walk all the way back to their states. And what happens is that they use this one particular route which falls along the upper Ganga Canal, which crosses the districts of Muzaffarnagar, Ghaziabad, and Meerut. Now, the UP government's rationale in front of the tribunal is that the existing road is not enough to handle the Kanwar Yatris, and hence they want to build a new route on the right branch of the upper Ganga Canal. And this would not only facilitate the Yatris, but also in the months after the Yatra ends, it will handle traffic of light vehicles connecting Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh state.
So then why has the National Green Tribunal ordered a probe into it?
So essentially what happened is that there was an article in the newspaper Hindustan Times which talked about the Uttar Pradesh government giving a clearance for this project and how it would involve felling of over 1 lakh trees. Based on this article, the tribunal took a suo motu cognizance of this whole case, and that's how the matter came into the court's realm, in the tribunal's realm, and then it has been hearing this matter since the month of March, where they served notice to the Uttar Pradesh government, the Public Works Department of the Uttar Pradesh government, the Ministry of Environment and Forest, and the Ministry of Environment and Forest's regional office also. So that is how the tribunal came into the picture. Now, Upper Ganga Canal is also an important resource for irrigation and water in Uttar Pradesh and other regions. So the biodiversity is very important along this route, considering the fact that it helps to conserve groundwater along the irrigation channel. So the tribunal is asking them, first of all, to justify what is the rationale of felling so many trees. That is number one. That is how the hearing began. In the latest hearing, what happened is that one environmental activist from Noida, one former BJP councillor from Rajnagar, and another activist from Ghaziabad, they implicated themselves in this case. They filed an intervention application and they presented certain facts before the tribunal regarding the project. And according to them, how it would damage the biodiversity. Based on those affidavits that they filed in front of the tribunal asked the state of Uttar Pradesh to check whether the allegations made by them regarding tree felling without proper permissions were fair or not.
And Nikhil, we understand that the National Green Tribunal has asked for the creation of a joint committee which will then be looking into the case. So can you tell us who all will comprise this joint committee?
Regarding the latest probe that has been ordered, what they have done is that, considering the evidences provided by those who have filed the intervention application, they have formed a probe committee. This would include people from the Ministry of Environment and Forest. The DM of Meerut is going to be the coordinating authority for this probe.
And what are the major issues that the investigation needs to look into?
They are to look into 6-7 issues concerning what kind of impact this project would have on the tree felling, what kind of impact it would have on the environment, what impact it would generally have on the route, the stretch it falls on. It also asks them to look into the feasibility of the project, whether it is required in the first place or not, because there is an existing road on the left bank of the canal which has been in use for motorists also and as well as for the Kanwar Yatris. So these are some of the issues that the tribunal has ordered the joint committee to look into.
And Nikhil, a very similar case along the Ganga Canal was rejected in 2010. So can you tell us what happened back then?
So this point was raised by the applicant, the team of applicants who had implemented themselves in this case. They brought this fact before the tribunal that in 2010-11, the Uttar Pradesh government had proposed an expressway along the same stretch, passing the same districts of Meerut, Ghaziabad, and Muzaffarnagar. The point they made was interesting that back then the Deputy Conservator of Forest, who was working in the regional Lucknow office of the Ministry of Environment, he had inspected the whole stretch, before the clearances were given and when the clearances were sought rather. And he pointed out the kind of impact the tree felling would have on the local flora and fauna. One of the things that was pointed out in the site inspection report was this whole stretch is home to various kinds of wildlife, small and big, including hyenas, rabbits, jackals, snakes. Some of the trees are quite old. I mean, there's a mix of both old and new trees. So the felling would also impact soil quality. It would probably lead to erosion, they had said. And on the basis of these findings of the site inspection, they had not approved the project, and the state government back then of Uttar Pradesh had to cancel it. So these facts were brought in front of the tribunal, and the tribunal's bench took this on record and also asked questions of the Uttar Pradesh government whether they had considered this fact that similar project had been considered earlier and whether you took note of it while giving the recent clearances.
Right, but how does the tribunal plan on checking how many trees have been cut yet and whether or not it's the right amount?
So the two issues that the tribunal bench pointed out were in the July 25th order, they had said that the Surveyor General of India should use satellite imagery to map how many trees were standing before the felling began and how many are standing now, to give an idea about the tree felling that has happened. Because like we mentioned earlier, that the applicants in the case who have implemented themselves have alleged that the UP government has felled more than the required number of trees, and these trees are pretty large in size. So this is one of the evidence that is supposed to be provided to the tribunal for a decision. Secondly, they have also asked for geo coordinates of the area and especially the trees. If the trees were mapped, then those details have to be provided. So these are the two tools that they are going to use.
And in the end, we talk about another successful project by ISRO. On 16th August, the Indian Space Research Organization's smallest launch vehicle, SSLV, that is, Small Satellite Launch Vehicle, in its third and final development flight placed the EOS-08 and SR-0 satellites into a precise 475 km circular orbit. With this, the SSLV will be inducted into the Space Agency's fleet of operational launch vehicles. Indian Express's Anona Dutt reported that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a post on X, congratulated the team responsible for the same. He said, quote, "A remarkable milestone. Congratulations to our scientists and industry for this feat. It is a matter of immense joy that India now has a new launch vehicle. The cost-effective SSLV will play an important role in space missions and will also encourage private industry." Unquote. ISRO's chairperson S. Somnath said, quote, "With this third flight of SSLV, we can declare that the development process is completed. We are in the process of transfer of technology to industries for serial production and launches of the SSLV on a commercial basis. So it's a great beginning for SSLV." Unquote. He added, quote, "Further, we are also looking for certain activities in the VTM stage and all that will be completed in due course of time." Unquote. The VTM, or the Velocity Trimming Module, is the last liquid propellant base stage of the rocket, which is used to correct the velocity just before injecting the satellites into the orbit. Anona reported that during the first development flight of the SSLV, that was the stage which did not switch on due to a previous misreading of sensors, leading to the satellites being injected into an unstable orbit. However, this time it was a textbook launch. Somnath said that the rocket had placed the satellites in precisely the planned orbit. No deviations were found in the injection conditions, but the final orbit will of course be known after tracking. ISRO's EOS-08, which was the primary payload on the mission, is a 175 kg experimental satellite carrying on board three new technologies. The electro-optical infrared payload is designed to capture images in mid-wave and long-wave infrared during the day and night. The data can be used for surveillance, disaster monitoring, environmental monitoring, fire detection, volcanic activity observation, and industrial and power plant disaster monitoring. Anona adds that the Global Navigation Satellite System reflectometry payload has been designed to demonstrate that reflected signals from satellite-based navigation systems like GPS can be utilized for applications such as ocean surface, wind analysis, soil moisture assessment, cryosopher studies over the Himalayan region, flood detection, and inland water body detection. Notably, the third payload, SIC UV dosimeter, will be used to study the amount of UV radiation that will hit the viewpoint of the crew module in preparation for the Gaganyaan mission. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by me, Niharika Nanda. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.